Hello and welcome to my weekly video blog, and today I'm going to be talking about signs of low blood sugar levels in the perimenopause and menopause. If you like my tips and advice, then please subscribe and remember to hit the bell icon so you can be notified of all my new videos. So are you feeling kind of tired, hangry, hungry, irritable? Are you getting sweats? Is this happening on a regular basis? Now, while these are completely classic perimenopause and menopause symptoms, they are also classic low blood sugar level symptoms. So today I'm going to talk about being aware of these symptoms and which they may well be, and also what you can do to help yourself. So why does this happen? We do know that it seems to be that falling estrogen can interfere with our insulin regulation, so that our insulin production isn't quite as efficient as what it should be when we're eating food, when we're not eating food. So our blood sugar levels tend to become much more erratic. They can swing up, they can dive down very, very quickly. And it's this inability to keep the blood sugars level that can cause a lot of symptoms that are identical to menopause ones. So sometimes it can be really difficult to figure what's what. And if you are thinking that these symptoms are all to do with the menopause, then you're not really addressing the real issue. And if they are low blood sugar issues, then taking the hormonal remedies will probably not really help. So you have to treat this in a completely different way. So the main signs are, and just before I forget, so this can be part of the problem in the perimenopause. It can happen in the menopause. And for those of you that are post-menopause whose symptoms may be eased off a number of years ago, if you suddenly get these back again, then very often it's more to do with low blood sugar levels rather than your hormones resurging or all of a sudden out of absolutely nowhere. So the signs of this are, as I say, absolutely identical to menopause ones. So it can be sweating, and this can happen anytime. So it's not due to hot weather or just physical exercise or being that little bit anxious. So these sweats can appear at any particular time. You might find that you get shakes or you're physically trembling, and that's a really horrible one. It can be dizziness, you can feel lightheaded or just even faint, feeling a little bit faint. Brain fog is a really classic one. It can be irritability, it can be mood swings, it can be that anger. All of these things, again, they can come on really, really quickly. You can get sudden, intense hunger pangs, even if you've just eaten recently. And very often you get sugar cravings. So you're craving sweet things and nothing else will do. It has to be something sweet, and that will override anything. You know, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to modify what you're eating, these sugar cravings, they're part of the body's natural response to low blood sugars, and they will literally be uncontrollable. It can be headaches. You can get that kind of thumping headache in the background. It can even be nausea or feeling really queasy. And a really strange one that I hadn't realized until recently is blurred vision. So you might find, especially if you're at the computer for a long time, you might find that you're having problems sort of concentrating on what you're reading. And it can be overwhelming fatigue. And again, it can be a fatigue that you're fine 1 minute and the next minute you literally just want to lie down and fall asleep. So the best things to do here is a balanced diet. You want to keep your blood sugar levels as stable as possible. So it's eating foods that are going to keep your blood sugar stable and avoiding those foods that are going to make them go all over the place. So you're looking at complex carbohydrates, small amounts of the complex carbohydrates. So that's things like your whole grains, your legumes, things like your lentils, your vegetables, your lovely sort of starchy vegetables. You want to limit simple carbohydrates, especially in this situation, or completely if you can. So that's things like your sugary food, biscuits, cakes, sweets, pre-packed breakfast cereals, anything like that that's going to break down really quickly and give you a big shot of sugar. You need to try and get protein with every meal. Protein is one of the best things for stabilizing your blood sugars. So try and get some kind of protein at every meal. And if you're vegetarian or vegan, it can be a little bit more difficult because, you know, there's only so much tofu and beans that you can eat. So normally it's a little bit of extra meat, things like your white meat, your fish, beans, tofu, eggs as well. But if you feel that you need more, but you can't put any more of these into your daily diet, then you can get really good plant-based protein powder shakes, and one of those on a daily basis can be really helpful, again, just to keep your blood sugars really stable. You're looking at healthy fats, so protein and fats are the best things to keep your blood sugar stable. So it's things like your extra virgin olive oil, it's nuts and seeds, things like avocados, having those in your diet. And nuts and seeds are an absolutely fabulous mid-morning or mid-afternoon snack if you just feel that your blood sugars are getting that little bit shaky. Have regular balanced meals. So don't skip meals and don't skip breakfast. This is the one meal of the day that it's really important. If you skip breakfast, then you're starting your whole day's journey in a low blood sugar state, and it can be a lot harder to make it up. Your body will just crave sugary foods for the rest of the day, regardless of what else you eat. So a good breakfast with protein and fats in them, or your protein shake, is really the best way to go as much as you can. Watch your portion sizes as well. If you have a really huge meal, not only does that stress your digestion, but that can have an impact on your blood sugars as well. So don't eat not enough, but don't eat too much as well. Try and keep things in a really good balance. Remember the water, because dehydration will affect your blood sugars as well. And that can be one that will, can happen 2 or 3 times a day. Try and keep your caffeine, sugary drinks, and fruit juices. So things like fruit smoothies are really not a good idea at this particular point. Although you're getting the benefit of the fruit, the sugar in these smoothies will be absorbed into the bloodstream very, very quickly, and that can have quite a big impact on your blood sugar control as well. And please, please, please don't have coffee the minute you get out of bed, because that will rev up everything and it will take hours again for your body to rebalance after that cup of coffee. So have your water first. If you need a cup of coffee, have it after your meal, where it will do less damage. Regular exercise, because this is going to improve your insulin control. So do a mix of sort of aerobic and muscle strengthening weights, that kind of things. Good night's sleep. We know poor sleep will affect blood sugar levels, especially first thing in the morning. Manage your stress as well, because again, stress is going to rev up our nervous system, and that can affect our blood sugar control as well. So again, with the stress remedies, magnesium, deep breathing, all of these can really help. So when do you see your doctor? As these symptoms are identical to other health issues, if this is happening regularly every day, if you find that the tips I've given don't make any difference at all, this is the point where you check with your doctor. The problem is that pre-diabetes is so common in the perimenopause and menopause. It's one of the things that seems to come on with all these hormonal changes. So we are more prone to pre-diabetes or diabetes. It could be low vitamin D deficiency. It may be B12 deficiency. It could be thyroid issues. It can also be heart disease. So all of these conditions can give symptoms that, again, are identical to low blood sugars. So it's always a good idea, if you're really struggling with this, just ask your doctor to test for these. If they're ruled out, that's absolutely great. It just means that you might have to do a little bit of work on doing all the other things to stabilize your blood sugars. So I hope you found this one helpful. It's so common, and for those of you that have been watching for a while, you know that I mentioned controlling blood sugar levels on a regular basis. So today I've just given you a little bit extra information. If any of you have experienced this, how did you sort it? What happened? Please share your stories. And until then, have a lovely week, and I'll see you next week.